Good day, students! Welcome to this YouTube channel. This is Mr. Giovanni T. Gara. In this video, I will be talking oral communication in context as one of the many subjects in grade 11. So for oral communication in context, I will be talking here the types of speech context. So for this video presentation, I will be following the outline. First, I will state the lesson objectives, then the introduction, then I will go to the main discussion of the lesson. We have the types of speech context, the intrapersonal, second is the interpersonal, third is public, and the fourth one is mass communication. Lesson objectives. At the end of this discussion, the students will be able to identify the various types of speech context. Second one distinguishes the different types of speeches, and the third one is to respond appropriately and effectively to a speech act. So it is very essential to differentiate the types of speech context in order to develop effective communication skills. This is important too because it tells you, the receiver, what importance to place on something, what assumptions to draw or not about what is being communicated. And the most important is it puts meaning into the message. Now, according to Jim Beggs, what we say is important. For in most cases, the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. So let us begin this video presentation with a discussion in speech context. Before we will know the different types of speech context, we need to define speech context. So in speech context, this refers to the purpose of the speech. Take note of the word purpose. Purpose of the speech and why you are giving the speech. When you are asked to speak publicly, you need to know the occasion for the speech, as well as the type of audience you have. So the audience is your intended goal. Again, the audience is your intended goal, and the occasion is the reason why the audience will attend the speech. Now, there are different types of speech context, and we will discuss first intrapersonal as the first type of speech context. Intrapersonal is also known as communicating with oneself. So intrapersonal, this refers to the communication that centers on one person. Take note of the word one. This centers on one person where the speaker acts both as the sender and the receiver of the message. So that particular person is the sender and at the same time the receiver of the message. So the message is made up of your thoughts and feelings. Again, the message there is your thoughts and feelings. The channel is none other than your brain, which processes your thinking and your feeling. So what are the different examples of intrapersonal type of speech context? So this is communicating with oneself. First on the list is a teenager who writes a diary where nobody is supposed to read. So that particular diary is only allotted for the person or to the teenager writing the diary. Next, you spent the night thinking and analyzing why a student from the other class talked on you on the way home. So you are thinking the whole night and analyzing why is the reason why that student talked you on your way home. The third one is you felt happy while thinking about how your teacher appreciated you for submitting your infographic before the deadline or the due date. So you felt happy. That is your feeling while thinking about your teacher's appreciation. So those are some of the examples of intrapersonal. Again, it is communicating with oneself. It refers to your feelings and your thoughts. The second type of speech context is the interpersonal. Interpersonal. So when we say interpersonal, this is communicating between and among other people. So other people are involved in this type of speech context. So interpersonal, this refers to communication between and among people and establishes personal relationship between and among them. Interpersonal also is the process of exchanging of information, your ideas, or maybe your feelings between two or more people through verbal or non-verbal means. When we say verbal, just using words in your mouth, and non-verbal methods are your gestures and others. When we say interpersonal, this is communicating between and among other people, meaning other people are involved in this particular type of speech context. So let us take a look at some examples on this. But before proceeding to the different examples, we have first types of interpersonal context. So there are different types of interpersonal context. The first one is the dyad communication. So we have here first type of interpersonal context or under interpersonal context is the dyad communication. When we say dyad communication, it is communication that occurs between two people. Take note of the word two people, that's why it's dyad. So there is only one speaker and one listener. Just like in the picture, there is one girl there and one boy. So one speaker and one listener. For example, James provided comfort to a friend who was feeling down. So when we say dyad, there are only two people involved. So we have in the example James and his particular friend who was feeling down. The next type of interpersonal context is the small group. So when we say small group, this involves at least 3 but not more than 12 people engaging in a face-to-face interaction to achieve a desired goal. Let us notice the different words and phrases underlined. So this involves at least 3. So the minimum is 3 but not more than 12 people engaging in a face-to-face interaction, just like on what is happening in the picture. So for example, David and his group mates are having a discussion on how to finish the tasks assigned to them. So the small group, minimum of 3 but not more than 12, so they are engaging, collaborating, discussing important matters to achieve a desired goal. So in the example, David and his group mates are having a discussion and their desired goal is to finish the task assigned to them. Okay, moving forward is the third type of speech context. So we have the first one before going. The first one is intrapersonal. The second one is interpersonal, which has two type of interpersonal context. We have the dyad communication and the small group. Now let us proceed to the third type of speech context together with intra and inter is the public. So when we say public, this type refers to communication that requires you to deliver or send the message before or in front of a group. Take note for the word public, so that is delivering a message or talking to a group of people before or in front of a group. So the speaker addresses many listeners. So there is no interchanging of the speaker and the listener roles. So it won't happen that the particular speaker will now become as the listener and the listener will become as the speaker. So that won't happen in public type or public speech context. So when we say public also, it is one speaker and many listeners, referred to as the audience. Again, in public, there is only one speaker and many listeners. So moving forward, let's take a look at some examples. So we have JR give his graduation speech to the class of 2022. in Gara Integrated School of Arts. So JR there is the speaker, and he is delivering the message to a group of people, or the class of 2022, the graduates and the members of the faculty. Now, next example is Akihiko participated in the oratorical contest watched by a number of people. So Akihiko there is the speaker, single, and the group of people known as the audience, or the many group of people watched during that time. Okay, next is the next type of speech context is the last one, which is the mass communication. So maybe you are familiar with this word, mass communication. This is also known as communication through media. So this type refers to communication that takes place through television. We have radio, newspapers, magazines, or books, billiards, internet, and other types of media. So this is communication that happens or takes place through a media. Example is Shakira, a student journalist, articulating her stand on current issues and goals through the school's newspaper. So maybe Shakira here is one of the many writers, or they're referred to as journalists, in a school paper publication. So this is communication that happens through a newspaper. So what we have discussed so far are the types of speech context. Again, a speech context is what is speech context? It refers to the purpose of the speech. So why you are giving the speech. The different types of speech context: intrapersonal. The second one is interpersonal. They have two types of interpersonal speech context. We have the dyad communication, and the second one is the small group communication. The third type of speech context is public, and the fourth one is mass communication. So thank you everyone for watching and for listening to this video. I hope you have learned something. This is Mr. Giovanni Gara. If you have some questions, you can send an email to teachergiovannigara@gmail.com. Thank you.